Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet the author of this new book. It's called The Widow Chose Red. It's about loss, love, and faith. Her incredible story just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
So I have been in love with my wife for the better part of 2.5 decades, and I can't even imagine life without her. And so that's why this segment is emotional for me, because you're going to meet the author of this best-selling book, The Widow Chose Red, and she lost her husband a few years ago, and she chronicled the journey in this book. Rachel Kerr Schneider is in the studio. She's with Spirited Prosperity. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, Jeff.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about when you learned your husband had ALS.
Oh, that was a day that won't soon be forgotten, ever. My husband and I had been married for 21 years. He was an athlete. He was accustomed to having those aches and pains and things that didn't quite resolve themselves. And he started seeing a neurologist for about a year because he realized something was off. And he was scheduled for his executive physical at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. And he took the file with him. And I was supposed to meet him there the next day. He called me and he said, Rachel, I'm coming home. They want you to come back to the Mayo with me the next day. He walked in the house. The kids were asleep. I was in bed reading a book, and he came over and he said, they think I've got this disease. I'm going to die. And I looked at him and I said, John, come on now. Really? But he was not a man who was prone to dramatics. And so I knew something must really be going on. So we went to the Mayo the next day, and after 3 days of intensive testing, they gave him the diagnosis that no doctor wants to give and no patient wants to get. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease. There's still no known cause, no known cure, no treatment, nothing, 2 to 5 years, and that's it.
Wow. We're going to put a picture of your husband on the screen. And this was his 50th birthday. And when did you lose him to ALS?
We lost him. His birthday was in January. We lost him the following September.
Wow. So you were telling me before the show, this is probably one of the worst diseases on the planet. And to watch your husband slowly wither away.
It is, Jeff. It is brutal, and I think anyone who has any experience with any kind of disease, and if they know someone with this, it is terrible. And this is ALS Awareness Month, so we are doing our part to let people know about the fact that only about 30,000 people are currently living with ALS in the United States at any given time. 5,000 to 6,000 will be diagnosed this year. And there is literally no hope of being treated and putting it in remission, so to speak. And that's what led me to write the book, because after having gone through this and experienced this, I wanted to be able to at least inspire or share some kind of hope in a very hopeless situation.
Okay, let's put the book cover on the screen, because I think your title is just very provocative. The Widow Chose Red, ? Tell us about the title.
I chose red because red is the symbol, the color of love, the color of passion. It's also the color of fire, which is represented as a flame, as the Holy Spirit in the Bible. And so all three of those elements were so important to me. We celebrated the way John lived. he lived well and he also finished well. And so it was a true celebration of life. And that's why I chose Red.
She created an amazing video. Let's go ahead and roll that.
He walked in and he was just as white as a ghost. And I looked at him and I said, "Honey, what's wrong?" And he said, I have this disease. I said, what, slow down. He goes, "I'm going to die." I said, "John, wait a minute. He said, "They think I have ALS. There is no cure. There is no treatment. And there is no hope." For the longest time, my prayer was just, show me how to do this. Show me how to do this, God. I don't know how to do this. Show me how to do this. And then I realized, you know what? He would show me how to do it. What I know is that even though this isn't a place that I ever thought I'd be, is that it's all right. And that inner strength and that inner faith that has been strengthened through this journey will not leave me. It's that hope and it's that faith and it's that strength that will keep us moving forward, and that will allow us to live the life that God has intended for us.
Wow. Rachel, you have such a bright light in your eyes, and I can't even imagine what you've gone through. So where does that bright light come from?
Oh, that bright light comes from the faith that I continually stir up inside of me. I believe that we all have a supernatural superpower inside of us, and it's the Holy Spirit. It's the gift that we've been given, that Jesus left us with. So he gets all the credit. If I didn't have my faith, I'd be in a fetal position.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, and your book isn't just for people who are dealing with a deadly disease. It affects everyone. I mean, we all have loss.
Yes.
So tell us about some of the comments you've received from the people who've read your book.
Well, the best thing is that I've had a lot of people who know me, who have read the story and realized things they didn't know about me. I've also had a lot of people who don't normally read books tell me they picked it up and they couldn't put it down. So that, to me, as an author, you always want to write a book that people are going to read. And so that has really touched me. And I've had a lot of people, too, who have just shared, it's given me a little bit of hope. I've kind of reframed what's going on in my life. Thank you for giving me that perspective.
Sure. And you became a single mom at 49.
I did.
How are your kids doing?
My kids are so good now. They were 10 and 14 when their father passed away. And my oldest did take a journey down the road of addiction. And I will tell you that is the subject for the second book, which will be coming out. But they are good now, 28 and 24, and they are an amazing legacy to their father's life.
What do you want people to get out of the book?
I want people to realize that even when we have faith, it's okay to have questions. It's okay to have some fear. It's okay to be scared. It's okay not to know all the answers. Because we know the one who does. And so I just want someone to just read the story of a family living a regular life and then being hit with something. Because as you said earlier, it happens to all of us. And I want you to just be inspired and maybe be able to fortify your faith a little bit.
Well, I know, from all these years of doing TV news, I would interview grieving families, and there are stages of grief, and one of them is getting mad at God. Did you ever find yourself getting mad at God?
I wish I could say that I did, Jeff, but I would always say, people say, why me? I kind of say, why not me? And so I don't believe that God makes us sick, but I do believe he allows us to be tested. And there is something that is to be gained through our suffering. We may not understand it, and that's part of the journey. But no, being mad at him, no. Looking for answers, absolutely.
And I can't believe after all this time, because Lou Gehrig passed away, a better part of a century ago.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
And we still are no closer to solving this mystery.
No, we're not. And he's such an icon for ALS because of the way he lived and, of course, the way he handled this brutal disease. Lou Gehrig Day is actually coming up on June the 2nd. The Rangers will be celebrating with a special game in his honor.
Wow. We're going to pull up your website, and as we scroll down the website, I know you do a lot of speaking to faith-based audiences. Tell us about your speech.
So it's really all about what would you do? How would you handle a situation like this? How do you go all in helping someone end well? And in realizing that, how does that frame and change the perspective of your own life?
Sure.
Because it will. It does.
Did you find yourself having to be strong for your husband when you just wanted to, pull the covers over your head?
Absolutely. And I sought out a faith-based therapist, actually. And I remember saying to her, I have faith. Shouldn't this be easier? This should be easier. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. And she looked at me and she said, Rachel, Jesus was a man and he had 12 guys helping him. You're not Jesus, and you're not meant to do this alone.
That's powerful. That's powerful. So we have about 2 minutes left, Rachel. Look into the camera on the left and talk to that viewer who might be struggling with something right now.
Okay, so you're not alone, first of all, and everything you're feeling is absolutely okay. It's all right to be scared and to feel whatever you're feeling, and know too that this too shall pass. And I'm not being cliche in that. Our life, whether good things are happening or bad things are happening, we know that change is imminent. It always happens. But I just want you to reach out to me. I would love to be able to encourage you and to support you and to also pray for you and let you know that although you don't know how the story may end, or it may end the way you don't want it to, God has something else prepared for you, and you're not done yet.
So powerful. Thank you so much for sharing your heart and your wisdom and your faith with us. We're going to end with her website, which is spiritedprosperity.com. The great Rachel Kerr Schneider. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff. Godspeed.
You too. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.